Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Faith Ministries. My name is Siomar, and I'm here to bring you another word. In this video, I'm going to lay a foundation before bringing you the prayer that we can pray, that you can pray over your prodigal spouse's heart. So in this video, we're going to first lay this foundation before I bring you the prayer to pray over your prodigal spouse's heart. Now, in this life, we are responsible for guarding our own hearts. Heartbreak can occur at any age, but it's what we do with that heartbreak is what really matters. When we do not walk in the counsel of the Lord, we fall easy into the traps and snares that the enemy puts in place. It is through guidance by the Holy Spirit, through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding given by our Heavenly Father, that we are able to escape the enemy's snares. The enemy is not only coming to destroy you, but also to recruit you to join him and his demons to destroy others. This is how some people become vessels the enemy uses. Let me give you an example. My spouse told me one time, and that was a long time ago, that he got his heart broken by an ex. She cheated on him, and as he mentioned to me at the time that she cheated on him, the problem with most people is that they do not take the time to heal. Why do I say this? Why do I make the statement? Is because this happened many years ago, and my spouse and I met. We went on a date, and I remember him bringing it up. That gave me an indication that he really didn't heal from this. He just moved on from it, but that hurt and pain, he's still carrying it. And the problem that we have as people, and my spouse, I knew at the time that my spouse did not take the time to heal, and most people don't do this. They do not heal, okay? Having a broken heart caused by someone can lead to unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a sin that causes bitterness in the life of that person. So when you harbor unforgiveness towards a person, it can now set the door open to bitterness. Unforgiveness is a spirit. Bitterness is a spirit. Okay? That person that refuses to have unforgiveness, or that refuses to forgive, they don't understand that forgiveness actually will free them from the hurt and pain. The spirit of unforgiveness invites the spirit of bitterness in, resentment, anger, rage. This is what I went through before I got saved, because I grew up without my father. Now, I grew up without my father. My father was never in my life. He chose not to be. And I grew up with a lot of anger, disappointment. I remember I was enraged. I didn't trust men, hated men, okay? I grew up with those type of feelings because I felt and that abandonment, it did something to me. I sought out relationships really early because I really wanted to fill that void that was within me. So I knew that when I got saved, these things were just clear as day to me, because God started giving me revelation. This is why you entered into that relationship, this relationship. This is why you made these type of decisions. It's because I was trying to fill a void. It's only through going to God that you will really get, delivered from all of these spirits that are daily possessing or oppressing you. And I finally, when I got saved, I decided to forgive my father, and I was free from all of that. It's like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. Now, my spouse, when we were on a date, he also told me about his father, and that his father abandoned him. So he has the same things. He went through the same thing that I went through. Okay? He still holds on to that hurt and pain because he mentioned it to me. And I could see in him that he really was disappointed by it, because he mentioned to me that my father never reached out to me. If only he would just call me, just one phone call, uh, would change things, would change his feeling towards things. So you see that it's still painful. What I can say about it is, it gets better when God starts revealing you to these things to you, healing you. When God starts giving you the revelation that you need to be set free, when you've forgiven this person, you get set free from it. It takes a lot of your shoulders. It takes a lot of weight. But I think that you always live with the mindset of, what if I had that experience? What if you always have that. And I always see children with their fathers, and I always think to myself that I have never experienced it. I do not know what it's like. It's just, to me, yeah, I cannot even describe how children feel that have their fathers in their lives, because I never had it. So I don't know what it feels like. But you always have those type of thoughts. That's what what I want to say with that. So my spouse, I could see the disappointment in him, the hurt, the pain, the anger, the resentment. I could really see it in my spouse when he told me that his father really abandoned him when he was a child. So he still holds on to that, the hurt and pain. As a child, you do not know how to process this, especially when your parents lack the knowledge of helping you. So my mother, she did the best she could. I always say that. I'm thankful for her. I love her. She did all that she could for me. I will never hold this over her or over her head. But there are certain parents that lack the understanding, the knowledge, the wisdom to need to help you, so that you don't grow up to be this hurt and pain, this anger, this resentment, this bitterness. Some people take their children to therapy, which is a good idea. And when a child grows up with this kind of baggage, we then walk blindly into the world, and that's just how it is. We grow up not knowing to guard our hearts, and this is what the Bible instructs. And the Bible instructs us to guard our hearts. But when you're a child and you don't have a parent who can really help you navigate through this hurt, the bitterness, the resentment, the abandonment issues, when you don't have that, you will walk through this world blindly, and you will fall victim to the traps and snares that the enemy sets for you. And let me see, that's just the traps and snares put in place by the enemy is only to suck you in deeper, okay? Because you're already hurting. You're always going through stuff. So the enemy is just trying to get you sucked in deeper into this. So yeah, let me just go into what the Bible instructs in Proverbs, and this is in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, and I'm gonna read it. Verse 23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So you see where you're instructed to keep your heart. But yeah, if you're a child and you're growing up and you already have these types of hurts and pains, it's gonna be hard for you to do this, okay? That's just the truth. You're gonna fall easily to prey to the enemy's devices and what he said in the traps and snares that he sets for you on your path. Now I'm gonna go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 19. And that reads, as in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Yeah. So what's in your heart? What this Bible verse is referring to is that what is in your heart will always come out. It will always reveal where you're at, emotionally, mentally. It will always reveal your character, your demeanor. What's in your heart will always come out. And when you're dealing with heartache, when you're dealing with a broken heart, and when people have hurt you in the past, it will change your behavior and how you move into the world. And you will hurt people unintentionally. Okay? That's why I don't blame my spouse. I don't have any anger, bitterness, resentment towards my spouse, because I know what it took for me to be delivered, to be set free from all of this. And mostly what we see in the world is that a lot of men, they don't heal. They don't go to therapy. They don't talk about their feelings, because this is what the world does. The world tells men you can't cry, you can't show any weakness. You have to be strong. So you literally see almost no man crying. They just hold it all in until they have a burst out or something. But this is how, and this is really very something that you need to teach your sons when they're growing up, if you have children, that it's okay for them to express their emotions. It's okay to cry, because this is how toxic this world is. To tell men you can't cry, you can't express your emotions, you can't be this, you can't be that. I feel like that the world is really tough on men. And sometimes when I sit to myself and I think about it, I feel for men. I really do. And let me read further. Let's talk about more about unforgiveness. Now I'm going to talk about more about unforgiveness, and this is when I talk about unforgiveness, when I talk about this word, I'm talking about the spirit of unforgiveness. My spouse did not forgive his father or this woman, and this opened the door up to the enemy. And the enemy will use any open door in your life. Okay? The heart of my spouse has hardened. And this is what you see in most people that go through heartache and pain. Their heart hardens. And it's like they have no feeling anymore. And because my spouse went through these events, it is hardened in his heart. Unforgiveness, it creates a domino effect that negatively impacts every part of you. It impacts your emotions, your thoughts, your behavior, your body, your spirit, and your relationships. If you harbor unforgiveness in you, it will always show. Always. Yeah? And let me go now. I'm going to read now in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15, and I'm going to read it. Verse 15, looking diligently lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness spring up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. So what did I read for you? Unforgiveness, it brings in, unforgiveness is a sin, and it causes bitterness in the life of that person. When you harbor unforgiveness, when you have that spirit of bitterness, what does the Bible say in verse 15? And thereby many be defiled. So they're defiled. Okay? Unclean. Your thoughts about people, your thinking, your behavior towards people, it will change. It will change. And mostly these people, they're the worst people to be in relationship with, because they have triggers, and you doing something that someone did to them in the past, the triggers, it will set this person off, and you'll be like, what's going on? You won't understand it. So this is why we need to deal with the matters of our heart. We need to really take the time out to heal and to really deal with these things, with these issues. Now I'm going to go now to Mark chapter 7, verse 17 to 19. And I'm going to read it for 17. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable, verse 18. And he said unto them, are ye so without understanding? Also, that do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Verse 19. Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into drought, purging all meats. Okay? This is what Jesus says. What you eat, it does not defile you. But what is in your heart, And verse 20, let me read verse 22. Verse 20 says, and he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. Verse 21, for from within, out of our heart of men, proceed evil thoughts. So these things are in your heart. From within, out of the heart of men. So this is in your heart. This is what you see in these prodigals. This is in their heart. Proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, verse 22, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. Verse 23, all these evil things come from within and defile the man. So this is in the prodigal's heart. And this has defiled that prodigal. All because they held on to the unforgiveness, the resentment, the bitterness, the anger. It's all within this prodigal. Okay? And this is in their heart. And this is what happens when we do not deal with the matters of our hearts. This is what really happens to us. And it's sad. And now I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 12. Verse 12. Verse 12, let's read. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. And I've been through this because as I was a child, I always lived in the hope that my dad would come one day and he would apologize to me, he would accept me, he would love me, he would treat me like a father is supposed to treat her daughter, that he would come in and just build a relationship with me. I am 33 years old and that has never happened. But I remember that when I was a child at 8 or 10 years old, I always lived in that hope that one day my father would come back and say, I'm sorry. I never should have abandoned you. I'm going to take care of you. I love you. My father's has never done these things. These things has never happened. So this is what happens. When you hope for something for so long and it doesn't happen, hope deferred maketh the heart sick. Just as written in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12. Now what does the Bible say about the heart? And now I'm going to jump into the book of Jeremiah. Let me see, Jeremiah. 1 minute, you guys. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9 and 10, and I'm going to read. Verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So who can know it? Only its creator can know it. So only God can know it. Verse 10, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. Okay, this is why I'm always saying to you, like, these prodigals, this is in their heart. God is the discerner of hearts. He knows how this prodigal is thinking is towards you or thinking towards others around them. God is going to give this prodigal everything according to the fruit of his doings, good or bad. That's why people fall under God's judgment, wrath and judgment, when people's lives go down. And I've seen this happen to many people around me, even in my family. So I know when God's judgment hits people, it's disheartening. It's very painful. Sometimes you just want to fall on your face and pray for these people. I prayed for my uncle too. I remember it happened to my uncle. I prayed for him too, because it's like they just hit rock bottom. There's just nothing left. There's just nothing left. And some of the prodigals are going to go through God's wrath and judgment. And some of them are going to lose everything. Now, I'm going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. Verse 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For the man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. This is why God creates a divine separation between you and your spouse. Because God knows your spouse's heart towards you. And God knows that your spouse's heart towards you is no good. A prodigal they have been through stuff. People don't just become this way. People say a narcissist, they throw this word around. That person who you call a narcissist, they didn't just wake up one day and became a narcissist. People go through stuff. But what we see in this world is that people do not deal with the matters of the heart. People do not want to get that naked about themselves because it puts a mirror on them. You're really putting an hourglass, not an hourglass, but they really need to step in front of a mirror and look at themselves and see all that is not good within them. And for some people, that is just a scary thing to do, if we're honest. And some people don't like to be criticized. They feel, and if they don't have if they're not really confident and we're really insecure, these type of things can hurt them. But we need to, as adults, there comes a point in time in life where you're going to have to deal with your issues. You're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and do something about it, because your life you'll stay stagnant in certain areas. You'll never excel. And prodigals, it looks like they're winning now, but tomorrow it might look very different for that prodigal. When they fall under God's wrath and judgment, it might look very different for that prodigal. I'm telling you. I've seen it with my uncle. This happened to my uncle. My uncle used to make, I think, 10K a month. When he fell under God's wrath and judgment, he lost everything. He even lost his life. He sat in his house by himself. He had no one. This is what happens to prodigals. And my uncle was a prodigal. He sat in his house alone. He had no one. No one visited him. He had alienated everybody out of his life. He was mean to everybody. He didn't have anyone left. I think it was my brother was the only one who really went to see him. And he sat in his house and he had no food in his fridge because he couldn't buy anything. Because God had stripped him from everything. The bank was about to foreclose on his house. He was going to lose his house too. His body was riddled with sickness. He was diagnosed with cancer. In the last stage, he lay on his sick bed, thinking back about how he lived his life. He had many regrets before he died. So I know what happens to prodigals. I've seen it, what happens to prodigals. Keep standing for your prodigal. God has called you to stand to pray on behalf of this person. Keep doing that. Keep them in your prayers. And God will eventually turn the heart of this prodigal around. Okay? Keep standing. Don't give up. If the Lord keeps pressing on your heart to keep praying for this person, continue to pray. I believe that at the time when my uncle was going through this, I think I was the one who prayed for him. I asked God if I should have prayed for him. And, the Lord didn't really respond to me. I don't know if the Lord wanted me to pray for him. I did say a prayer for him. But I think that at the time, no one stood for him in prayer. Not that I knew of. So, yeah. This is the video that I really wanted to bring to you guys today. So, a prodigal's heart is really the prodigals really defiled. Why? Because they harbor all of this hurt and pain, this anger, the rage, the resentment, the bitterness, the unforgiveness. This is what's in their heart. This is what is in the person. So this is really what I wanted to bring you guys. Next week, God spares life. I'm going to be back with and the video where I'm going to present you the prayer that you can pray over your prodigal's heart. And I'm going to bring you the Bible verses that you can use while you pray. Okay, you guys, this is the word that I really wanted to bring to you guys today. I pray you guys have a blessed day. I pray the blessings of our Lord Jesus Christ upon you guys. Shalom, family.